All right, family. All right. All right. Oh, riggedy right. What's going on out there today out in TikTok land? How are y'all doing? My certain things seem to have escaped me here. Let me see. There we go. Gotta love live and in living color when things go sideways, right? Let's say it this way, family, for the group, happy Halloween. I mean, that's the best. That's the best one that we can do for that right there. My apologies, right? Family, welcome in us, a different view family who love, who hunger, thirst, seek, and search for that which is a different view family. Welcome in. Today's topic, we're gonna keep it short and sweet. It's the holiday season, right? And as a result, okay, let me take the time to do this real quick. All right, we're back just to share in some things here. Real quick, we don't want to take up people's time as we got things to do tonight, right? We talking spooky stuff, right? Again, things of magic, things of energy, spiritual things that mostly, this is right about the time when Christians get on a high horse, like they know everything about the spirit realm when we're all learning, yet I digress, right? Family, we just want to be careful, okay? We want to be careful that we don't act like we know it all, because we don't. Right, that can become quite pretentious. Again, even on the podcast, as I share information with people, things that I've seen, studied, I know that there is more to know, right? So that it comes with a certain level of cautiousness when I speak on certain things, family, right? Again, I must reiterate this because I think we lose this when we speak. Understand that yes, there are things people know that from experience, from education, from the combination of both, which is an awesome teacher. Okay. I know people like doing this thing where experience and book knowledge, and we like having that little let me get blunt tonight. We like having that dick waving contest, right? Unfortunately, at the end of the day, family, understand that both of those make us look like dicks as we go back and forth swinging our proverbial male principles back and forth like it's some weird Star Wars fight. We need to be able to give credit to those who learn by books. We need to be able to give credit to those who learn by experience, and we need to be able to give credit to again, we sit in the seat of the scornful, and we're just going to go in from here. Again, we're talking about the 12 universal laws, which is very apropos for tonight. We will continue and finish off the list going into November. Again, tomorrow is All Saints Day anyway, which is the time the Christians use this kind of time, and for the most part, Christians use that day tomorrow, as far as the saints are concerned. Which again, you could use the same thing for tonight. When you talk about the history of the church, it's normally taking things Celtic or Germanic of some sort or whatever, and putting a holy spin, putting a Christianized spin to it, or biblical spin to it, or whatever. So, again, which is funny because we can do it for that, we can't do it for the rest of it. We can make Christmas holy, we can make Halloween holy, but the rest of life, no, this is unholy. Yeah, we know. There's a lot of ducking and dodging going on, and it's okay. We don't have to admit to it. It's showing up anyway. Right, it shows up anyway. So, be careful tonight, family. I must say that, right? We have to say that. People are weird out here. Clearly, pedophilia has become some or I guess maybe this is the next round where it's become popular again, because you look throughout society, this mess has always been a thing. For as much as you will have human dysfunction, it goes and comes, just like human function goes and comes, right? This is the cycle of it. Unfortunately, we have to recognize it, just like we used to recognize it back in the 80s. Family, you be careful of your babies where you leave them. right? Tonight is a good example to put that thing to practice. Be careful where you go with your kids and all this stuff. Some of these hoods and these ghettos, be careful where we just saying what it is. There's destruction in the mind of people, twisted, tortured, and mutilated, as is said in the Lord of the Rings movies about the orcs and the Uruk-hai and all that, right? Just twisting up holy notions and got people hurting each other with the weapons of defense, whether they be your hands, your feet, again, firearms or whatever else. It's unfortunate, but that's the world we live in. As a result, family, tonight, when you go out there, be careful where you are going. Do not allow, we're using some old school terms here when we say fealty, but do not allow fealty, which is the old school word for loyalty and devotion, right? Do not allow that to cloud your judgment and that good knowledge that the maker above has given us, okay? To not think some of this through. Shout out our Wiccan community one time. Family, I don't know about y'all, but the good God above, now we understand they talk about Lilith and all that kind of thing. We are not doing this proverbial holy books, it's like holy book. I talk about Bible wars because that's a lot of Christians do that a lot with verses and all this stuff. We just smacking around each other with our different colored Bible colored Bibles. You know what I'm saying? It's browns and blacks and purples, and we just smacking each other with the highlighters and all that kind of stuff, which is unnecessary. But at the same time, right, and we'll defend that too. No, this is my right to, we glorifying Jesus. Yeah, we know. So it's just like after a while, right, when we, as this descent into madness, we have to understand some of the origins of the things and where a lot of things connect more than they don't, and leave it for where it is on the differences, and get yourself another quote unquote proverbial witch hunt, right? People who honor this earth, this is that time. When they talk about that veil being skinny, you don't have to believe in spiritual stuff and none of that, family, right? We're talking about the things that operate around us, whether we believe them or not. Okay. I understand, right, how this kind of, it bucks the mind, but whether we believe them or not, this is what it is. Okay. Again, a very popular thought on reincarnation that we have seen over the last year or so. Again, not coming back as a cow, snake, bird, cat, rat, dog, all that kind of stuff. No, what we're talking about is your mission ends and then it begins. You can clearly see this kind of thing when we talk about generation, when they speak on generational curses. Again, the two, again, we're tying all this into the universal laws. Action and correspondence. That was 4 and 5. Right? So far we've done divine oneness, attraction, vibration, correspondence, action. And then we're going to get into this next one here, which is the law of cause and effect. Family, all three of those, okay? This is, unfortunately, in life, since we're in the holiday season, we break these laws all the time, y'all. Master done trained you real good on how to be greedy and disrespectful, dishonorable, right? Disloyal, all in the name of the dollar. Okay. As a result, empowering them with money and not yourself, because this is what consuming means. You're eating up your resources to make them richer, which is why we already put it on TikTok, and this is the method we live by. Man, keep, if you can, family, good God, man. You know, when you come out and you say something to folks, more people find more excuses on why it can't work and why, and as to the opposed of that it could work. We just don't. We don't. Right? So again, this can work. Can we make it work? Because we're making it work the other way around. It's time to make it work this way, right? That's what the law of correspondence deals with. And again, it's just to give this quick recap here. The law of correspondence, as above, so below. Okay, actions work in two different veins, two different energies, all that kind of thing. That is the only conversation, honestly, that I've come to at this point in my study. Again, if someone else shows something else, feel free to comment. Again, we're learning as we go here. But as far as we know, if you're going to give me comparisons between Wiccans and Christians, I'm being very blunt right now. right? Because we again, it's these unfortunate battles that we go through, we don't have time for, right? Other than the energies from which people pull from, okay? The source, the base of them, of course, Christians believe in certain kind of thing. But again, other than that part of it, it's very little here. One group believes in the blood of Jesus. The other one's, blood sacrifices and all that kind of stuff. Okay. One is believing in like protection, like from the angels and stuff like that, which is funny, tying this into real life events. So we pray for protection or how do I say this? Yeah. So we can tell everybody as far as this raids, people thinking everybody gonna raid churches for their pantries and all this other kind of stuff, right? And this is not to the family drop these defenses. This is not to belittle a thing. We're just telling you what it is. Okay, this is the way it is in the mind of folks. At the end of the day, we can tell each other where to. I even posted this thought on TikTok earlier today. We can take the time to tell people, hey, be careful of this, that, and the other. Look out for each other. All these kinds of things. But now you've got these people who are unaliving folks at a massive rate in churches, more than we have seen, probably, other than being under attack, in generations gone by, right? Like actual attack. Okay. Different holy places and all that kind of stuff. Although for the bulk majority of what we've seen, it's been churches, Christian churches. Again, we put Christian and Catholic together. I understand people have a problem with that. Is what it is. Christian churches, and at the end of the day, we just gonna believe God for protection for that. I don't understand that. So we can believe for protection. We won't beef up security and stuff like that to at least be a barrier against these mass unalivings. Right, since we're on TikTok and we can't say certain things no more. But in the videos that we scroll through, though, they show in these bombings and all this kind of stuff, but we can't say certain words on here. Anyway, I digress. Right, show you how massa can control what you say. The other side of this is, and again, welcome in, y'all. Today we're just talking about just life, the universal laws. Things of that nature. Currently, the law of action, correspondence. It's from the book the 12 Universal Laws. The name of the book is The 12 Universal Laws by Manhardeep Singh. And it got your boy to thinking. So we just, so we share it with the family. As above, so below. That's the law of correspondence. So understanding that one side of things is another side, right? Understanding the two sides of nature, energy, so on and so forth. The next one is the law of action. Okay. So it's cool to attract. It's cool to vibrate. Then you have to start aligning yourself to allow that part of it to magnify more. Right? That's the corresponding part of this. Right? You have to be willing to put yourself in that kind of thing. The premise behind the law of correspondence is that our lives, this is on page 31 here, the bottom paragraph. The premise behind the law of correspondence is that our lives are created by the subconscious patterns that we repeat every day, which serve us or stop us. Activate this law by understanding your own patterns. So this is where our actions come in. And it's okay, because we do all kinds of stuff all day long, at the very least, to set up our lives better, for them to be better. This is you, me, everybody, right? Family. We set up our lives a certain way, and we hold each other to an account to hold our lives in a certain way. It ain't got to be pushy and all that. But we're talking about where, again, you see folks, they're talking disrespectful to folks, like, what are we doing? Right. And then again, we ain't looking for social police. We're just saying how we help each other in these kinds of things. Right. And it starts internally and then works its way to the closest, next closest and next closest. So mothers and fathers to kids, so on and so forth. Kids back to the parents. Because I know parents get high and mighty like their kids can't never tell them nothing. We get it. I think if the Bible is saying out the mouth of babes, then maybe they have, the youth have something to say. But I digress. right? Because we got some folks, family, that's rock hard on that parent thing, man. They, and they point back, and that's what my mama did and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and our parents gave us a lot of trauma too that was unnecessary. See, we're okay excusing, family, unfortunately, is what we like doing. We like excusing the wrong. Somebody in our families are abusing us. We say this all the time on this podcast, but repetition is necessary for learning. People are abusing folks in the family. Guess what? We're going to make excuses for them. We ain't going to hold nobody accountable. And you see this kind of stuff in life. It's time now, speaking about, churches and, whether faith or foolishness, and having security beefed up to protect yourselves and have service where you can leave in and out the service without meeting the maker sooner than you want to. At the end, just saying what it is, at the end of the day, it's the same kind of thing with all these different rules that we're talking about. Family as a community, we're going to have to come together. I know that the so-called black person can keep making fun of Mexicans and vice versa. The family that degrades us as a society doesn't help us, right? If we want to go somewhere and see again, they make fun. Look, anybody who is in opposition to the dark brown and tan skin tone people groups on the planet has no problem banding together when it's necessary. And again, family, welcome in. Again, we're just sitting here talking about this little class section, talking about the 12 Universal Laws here, a book by Manhardeep Singh. But as we were saying, hey, at the end of the day, nobody has a problem making excuses in the direction. So this is the way I like saying it. Massa don't need any of our excuses. Just doesn't. Just really doesn't. They have their own. They don't need ours. They worked and band together all day long for what it is. Y'all have seen just recent this whole thing with Bad Bunny, right? When you look it up online, how now Sting is being tapped on the shoulder by the NFL to be able to give some, I guess, English speaking alternative for folks. Again, the part about that's off-putting is you live on a land here where you moved in, right? Your great griggity greats moved in where people spoke other languages other than English. Now you double back on that by being like, well, we want to hear nothing else but other than English. Wait a minute. You live in a place where a lot of people speak something else other than English, still to this day. But I digress, right? So, but they banded together long enough, no matter who it was. They made sure, hey, we getting some English speaking singing going on. We ain't hearing none of this Puerto Rican. Now, you keep that. And we like to, listen, again, we like to excuse ourselves one way or the other on it. We get it, but we're just saying what it is. Folks want to hear a certain thing, and then they make up their whole story, and it goes vice versa. This is why we need to band together, family. If you look, they got what they got because they banded together and they stayed right there and they got it. The same thing we can do the other way, family, and it's already been proven in history before. These are the laws of action. These are the laws of correspondence. Okay, what is on the one side, we can do on the other. The law of action, we have to actually do it. Well-wishing only goes up to a certain level. And then that thing gets legs and arms and stuff as our legs and arms start bringing these well wishes to life. 6, when we stopped off last time, and we're going to continue a little bit here and then we'll stop. Cause and effect. Every action has a consequence. Europe's invasion here has saying what it is. Okay, we're not doing this. Hopefully we've gotten to this point. We're not doing this dance back and forth anymore. So again, Europe's invasion here had a consequence. We say life is the way we say this law is that life has already pre-woven. Now we give this credit to the maker. Okay, for those who don't believe in Christianity, we get it. From the maker, the cause and effect. You can see this right here on page 39. Again, in this book from Manhardeep Singh, Manhardeepsingh. The name of the book is The 12 Universal Laws. Number 6 here on page 39, cause and effect. Each action has an equal and opposite reaction, family, which is why I don't understand why people want to make fun of folks. This is normally when you get into this conversation with the Chris Rock, Will Smith thing. Different people saying whatever they want to say, and they don't understand why people have certain, again, you can say whatever you want. Someone's going to have a reaction to what you're saying. What I am saying on this live right now, people are going to have a reaction to it. Again, what we ask is for folks to have a respectful response. That's all. Whether for or against. Right? Which is the part where we have broken down into madness, and it's almost a bloodlust where everything has got to be fighting, whether it's over the keyboard or in front of. We don't do this keyboard warrior thing over here. The same mess you will see right out in some store somewhere, which you will see during this holiday season, because again, greed is at work. Love is not. When love is, you do no ill to your neighbor. When greed is, it's get the heck out my way. I want that 78 inch TV that I don't have enough money for, and I use credit to buy it. Come on, family. We are empowering massa, not ourselves. And we're all accountable. You, me, everybody. Right? I put myself right at the top of that list. Matter of fact, the reason I'm at where I'm at in life is because we're good. I'm good. That's why you hear me say it. I'm good with that kind of stuff, right? So the law of cause and effect, we have to be careful how we treat each other. Okay, this is not to negate the fact that people can take a joke or can't take a joke. We get it. Guess what? At the same time, even in the Apocrypha, the amount of books that the church don't want to add in, because clearly y'all know what's best for everybody. You've turned into God. But I digress. No different than the black man and woman who can't accept their mixed brothers and sisters. Come on now, black Mexican, black Asian, wherever. You got to. They ain't original. They don't go to the. When did you become gatekeepers? You know everything. You know everything about humanity with the dark brown and tan skin tone folks now who can and can't be. Again, family, this is why we say very clearly we just have to band together. Okay, folks have a right to believe what they so choose. So does everybody else, right? And we just make communities around that. This is how the pockets was like this on this nation back in the day. When the explorer came, they found pockets of people groups just living all over, just chilling. Like life should be, instead of us stamping each other out for Halloween candy. So the law of cause and effect, right? Every action has a consequence. Again, as our brothers and sisters in the church house say, you reap what you sow. To have an honest conversation, brothers, we're going to have to stop doing this where the woman talking about, homes with no daddies in them and all that kind of thing. You cannot blame all this on the woman. That's not fair. All right. That has an equal and opposite reaction. Women going to get pissed off at you for constantly doing that. He's just speaking on romantic relationships right now where kids are involved. And all that. There's certain things we like. Again, see, folks want, the parent, see what the parent did. The kids shouldn't have to suffer with the parents. No. The kids do suffer from what the parents do. That's the problem. Because every action has a consequence, family. We want to sit here kind of like looking like Herman Munster from the Munsters. I know maybe people won't get this reference. You can look it up. You can Google it. You can even watch a little video, a little clip of his different sayings and stuff like that. And it's just, he's like Frankenstein. So, the bolts in the neck really stiff. And this is how we look in our mind. Sometimes it look a little funny. And sometimes it don't. Right? So again, long cause, we can put humor into some of these things, but it's really bad when we put our trauma off on our kids. And we sit there, we look at our sons and our daughters and we think, hey man, you really are acting like me, man. I was like this. Cause see, we front to each other, so we don't admit these things. And I was really like this. Good God. We become more mindful when we take these laws into effect. And we start thinking that our actions, have either rewards or consequences to them. It's a real thing. You'd be less likely to run off someone off the road. Just saying, because that can come back. You don't live in fear or nothing. Nobody's saying nothing about living in. I'm telling you, we have more excuses than we have solutions, man. I don't know. So that's number 6. Again, this is coming from Ralph Waldo Emerson. I'm sure, a few people who study books on here and all that kind of thing, and poetry and such, right? Awesome artist in his own right. Here's a quote from what he had to say. Shallow men believe in luck. The word luck, family, when you look it up, it just means things happening by chance. We like to say it very boldly and plainly on this podcast, family, that life is fair. The people are not. Some weird, crazy catastrophe. Shout out to Jamaica one time. No, that's not loud enough. We pray nothing but healing and restoration for the people in Jamaica having gone through this hurricane, I believe Hurricane Melissa. Right? There is no, while one place will have a devastating hurricane, other places have blue skies, family. It hurts looking at it that way, but life is fair, okay? It helps you identify this better, because now we're not putting it on those spooky, kind of just off-putting, people. Redlining makes living life even worse, right? Y'all can look up what that means if you don't know. That's just talking about how they used to break up who could live and where they could live and all that kind of thing, right? Think about that in everything else. Getting loans, we said houses, cars, getting loans for cars, any of these kinds of things. See, us putting in our bias about what we think about people puts more outcomes into what life already has. We're making more of a damage to the balance than we know, right? Again, things aren't happening by chance. They're happening because people do them. Shallow men believe in luck. And far be it from me to make fun of folks, but we're just reading his quote. Shallow men believe in luck. Strong men believe in cause and effect. So we're not waiting on Jesus. We do not discredit the Son of God, family. As a Christian, we're not, you know what I'm saying? But what we're talking about is people we hide too much. We ain't waiting on Jesus. We ain't in no rapture, right? We ain't on none of that. We got work down here to do. See, if the government goes through with this thing, with these SNAP benefits and all this stuff, you're going to see it in there won't be no denominational lines. Well, there will be. But people who are for real at this point, when it really gets bad, family, there's no denominational lines. We're about helping folk. That's it. We're about helping people. We just here to be good to folks, man. Ain't nobody got time to do all this chopping up and doing all that. And again, like we have said, for folks who have this excuse about what's a perfect world, and I'm talking perfect world stuff, when there was one, the people did the same damn thing. You had some man blame some woman for what the man could control, even though the woman did something that was sideways. And that's what causes the fall of humans. That's what we call it, right? We call it the fall of humans. When humans are on the rise, guess what? That's not happening. There are no excuses. There's only opportunities for improvement. And improvement that then creates opportunities for improvement and improvement. That's what a rise looks like. The fall don't. The fall is where you see all this mess you see now. Older generations blaming the younger generations for their problems, not realizing that the older generations helped get them to that point. This is a conversation we always have with the parent thing, that certain folks in the mind, unrenewed is like we like to say on this podcast, believe that this is all rebellious kids. This is not all rebellious children. Right? Again, me, you, anybody, we start looking for excuses. When you're on growth, you let that go. Right? When we are on growing up, we let that go. So again, shallow men believe in luck. Strong men believe in cause and effect. That's from Ralph Waldo Emerson. And here's where we're going to end. This is on page 40 in this book. If you want to be loved, love people around you. If you want abundance, give generously. I'm telling y'all, man. If you want a healthy life, you must eat well and exercise regularly. Eat well and exercise regularly. People are missing the point here. Again, we have enough of time. Listen, go find you some trail somewhere. You can still look down on your videos if you want to. Again, I would look up just to see where you're walking. But man, get out, take that phone with you, combine the two, okay? I know, because parents do this one. The kids just sit at home on their phones all day. Listen, take that phone with you, find you the sun somewhere, find a park, and walk around and look at the videos with your headphone on, listening to some music or something. Just get out there and walk, man. For some of them homes that's like hell on earth, that walk around that apartment will help you out. Hey, I'm just saying, okay? So there's that part of it, right? If we eating well, some of this stuff we learned off that plantation, come on, black folks. Some of that stuff we learned cooking with that fat back and this, that, and the other. We don't need that. Turkey, chicken, fish. Matter of fact, that's most of the stuff. By the time they transported you over here, that's what they was eating over here. Right? How we cook our food, very seriously. What we season it with. This is all real. This is all real. This mess they got up a fast food place everywhere, got you working late hours. That's the only thing you pump in your system because you're tired, family. Tap into this good earth, man. They keep us at that doctor's office. You take some pressure off the doctor and off yourself all at the same time, man. We talking corresponding actions. Cause and effect, family. And this is encouraging to me as anybody else, right? So eat well and exercise. And that thing start off. Stop looking at everybody as Arnold Schwarzenegger mentality and all that. Get a good plan for you. Push yourself, right? Be around people. See, check that out. If you want to be loved, love the people around you. This is the same kind of thing. Get yourself around. Leave these busters alone out in the street. They ain't telling you nothing for life and godliness. Some more ways by which they could rob some general store, some liquor store somewhere. We ain't on that mess no more. This is childhood garbage. 13-year-olds do that stuff. And this ain't make fun of teenagers. We just saying what it is. If this is so simple, why do we have a hard time with it? I think the awareness. That's why, family, we uneducated people. Stop listening to massa and start learning some of this stuff for yourself. People groups, all that kind of thing. We shouldn't even be worried about who's speaking whose language. That's honorable. But you know what? The awareness is low. So you look at it as a like, ugh. Instead of being honored in somebody's presence that they're speaking the language on these lands which they lived by the time we got here, huh? The Mexican, the native, the South American, the Caribbean. Never mind. Never mind, y'all. Master got us on some other mess. The issue that we have a hard time with it, just to recap, I think the awareness of our own actions and actions, thoughts, and intentions. You look up that word intention. We ain't gonna do it for time's sake. Have a lot to do with this. When it comes to our ideas, we are often in a self-greed. We're often in a self-driven state. So we don't realize either that or we ignore. The Bible had already said it. People are destroyed for lack of knowledge and because they reject it. So again, the writer here says, when it comes to our ideas, we are often in a self-driven state. So we don't realize, again, I'm adding in, we ignore it as well. There is an opportunity to update them for more favorable results. And that's where we're going to stop. Thank you, family, for walking this road with me. Again, happy Halloween. I love y'all. God bless y'all. Thank you for walking this road with me today. And as always, and until next time, look to find the beauty in a different view.